Good evening, Woodstock. Welcome to the Thursday, March 21st, 2024 edition of Woodstock Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting. I am your host this evening, Jeff Marcotte, and I would like to call the meeting to order at 7:31, and we'll go through the roll call. John David, start us off, please.
John Day, Aaron Fargo, David Morse,
Jeffrey Marcotte.
Dean Gould, Joseph Adeletta.
Mark Blackmon. Here we go. Couple of alternates, we only have one, so John, you gotta wear two hats. Okay, John Day, would you like to be seated?
I would.
Perfect. Well, note that for the record. Oh, Dean's a full member, and you can't see his hat. So John Day, thank you for participating, being an alternate. Thank you to public participating as well. And you, Amy, Dan Mayer, Cameron James, Delia Feck. That brings us to the Pledge of Allegiance. And Cameron said he'd lead us.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands nation.
I remember those days in grade school when I hoped that my name would get called. Get out, stand with the principal. Chair's report. Day I've been waiting for. Happy first day of spring, everybody. Woo. Although it feels like January, but the sun's higher in the sky every day, and Tim's gonna be planting corn pretty soon. No,
I just paid for this. They keep me in the office. I'm the cow guy.
well, somebody's gotta take care of it.
That's right.
That's my brief chair's report. Agenda item 3, citizens' comments. So, does anybody have any comments that they would like to comment on? Moving right along. Agenda item 4, we have some meeting minutes. February 15th and March 7th. What is the will of the commission?
I move we accept the minutes as presented.
Motion by David Morris to accept the minutes as presented. Second by Mark Blackman. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Tim Young abstains. That so passes. Thank you, everyone. We're gonna schedule. Yep. We have one additional home occupation permit that we'd like to add to the agenda. One that Dan handed out, 61 Center Road. Somebody could make a motion to add that to agenda item.
Move to accept to add that to the agenda.
And
I want my petition.
motion by Joe Adeletta, second by Tim Young to add another residential zoning permit for home occupation review, agenda item 10. Discussion on this. Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposition? That so passes. Thank you. Find something else to do too.
Online.
know if I was coming, so.
We could move to, agenda item 11 and move that up. Somebody make a motion.
Move agenda item 11 up.
Motion by David Morse to take up agenda item 11 now.
Second.
Second by Joe Arletta. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So passes, so you shall take up agenda item 6, I guess. New business. Special permit 662-03-24 Mark Labonte 122 Joy Road, activity on the scenic road for driveway improvement to the existing barway. We simply need to set a date for public hearing.
I thought we moved up.
That's what-
That's-
Oh, yeah, you're right, sorry. I make a motion that we just use regular numbers instead of.
Move to, schedule this for a public hearing. Our next business meeting in April, which is April 18th.
He's here if you wanted to ask him any questions.
Okay.
He's online, I mean.
Let's do that.
7:45, Joe.
7:45.
Motion by Joe Adaletta to schedule the hearing for agenda item 9, or actually 6 now. No. But no. 5. Is there a second?
Second.
Mark Blackman.
Dave.
Second by Mark Blackman. Schedule the. Where's the dean? Listen, I was dean. I can't hear. April 18th at 7:45. Discussion on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. Labonte,
Do we know if he submitted a permit, like a regular permit for a driveway?
we can ask.
I
Labonte,
called the highwayman. I think it was part of this process. He looked at it and he said the location was approved since it was existing. Just said I had to put an asphalt apron as to their specs raised above the road.
Get a memo back from the county foreman that we'll discuss during the hearing.
I thought it was on our packet.
It was. In the packet.
We can't really talk about it now, 'cause that's the purpose of the hearing, but
Okay.
the highway foreman has reviewed it.
Okay, so I'll fill out an application. Is that what's required next, or was that part of this process when it went to him?
You can do it now, it was supposed to be required, but it's just the form that you fill out, there's no fee involved.
Okay, I'll do that online. Thank you.
Well, the driveway permit is what you apply for, and then the highway foreman gives the commission the comments, and then the commission makes their review, and then they make a vote on whatever they wanna do with the outcome of the hearing.
Sounds good. Man, lots of favor.
He has paid for his. He has paid for his application. Pretty sure.
I think you're part of that, does it need selectmen approval?
No, the highway foreman.
Just the highway?
Yeah.
For a driveway, it's not the activity part, it's the driveway.
Right, so the highway foreman reviews the driveway and this commission reviews the activity because it's a scenic road. Like on a normal driveway and other roads, it never comes here.
it goes to the selectmen's office.
No, it goes to the highway department,
The highway foreman does all the driveways.
unless it's a state road.
Okay.
There is, on the standard driveway form, zoning. Verification as well. It's the highway foreman's signature and the zoning enforcement officer.
Okay.
And I don't actually have a receipt in here. Mr. Labonte, did you pay your fee?
I think he hung up. I think he's-
No.
I think a lot.
They're submitted to the town hall, so I don't.
Trying to unmute Mark. Having-
Here you go. Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Okay. Yeah, the check was sent in the day I got the form from Daily with the information. We sent the check in and they should have processed it. I don't know. I can look and see if it was cashed.
They should have that in the land use office then. I don't work in the town hall, so, when they get sent to the town hall, sometimes I just didn't get the receipt of it.
Okay. So we're all set. It's gonna be April 18th, 7:45. Is that correct?
So,
All right.
so I. What are we talking about in terms of an application? I have a application that was dated 3/6/24. That you already filled out. I'm talking about some other.
That's for the scenic road. You also need the permit for the driveway itself.
Oh, I see.
Scenic road form he fills out that's reviewed by this commission.
Okay.
And then there's a different form that is normally filled out and given to the highway department, and then.
Okay.
Providing it's approved, a
Okay.
copy of it is kept with the
Okay, I got it.
file in the building office or land use office.
Just to review too, if I may, when I had the highway foreman go out and look at it, he spoke with the first selectman. Since it was an existing barway, they didn't see, I mean, I realize there's a process that I'm going through now, but they didn't see any reason for there to be a problem. I mean, equipment's been going in and out of there for 45 years while he's been haying the fields. It's just I want to build it up so it doesn't roll the edge of the road, and that's why I'm going through the process.
I don't want to cut you off, but we have to keep all that discussion for the public hearing.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I just make a comment for the record, just on the minutes? I know the agenda shows 2 meetings for minutes. But obviously we don't have minutes for the March 7th. That's how it's the regular section. Or I'm assuming there won't be minutes for the March 7th.
There should be minutes.
Yeah, they're online. Go. They're online. I didn't get
Okay,
it.
sorry. I didn't see it. With no time. Just hold on. Thank you.
Thank you. I can really do it there, I'm gonna cut it out.
$7:45. So with that. Agenda item 5. Public hearing for 661-01-24 Dario Vaco. How'd I do?
Close. Go right, Shabako.
Shivako, I apologize. 170 Drury Road, activity on a scenic road for driveway relocation. Open up to commissioners. Discussion.
Yeah, we discussed last time that somebody's gonna get a plot plan to see if the stone wall is within the right of way.
No, apologize, I did not do that.
Right of way of what?
Town right away. It was a stone wall, so what's the deal?
Open up some.
Right, but that's why it would be here.
But we still don't know what's within the town right away.
I'm apologize, I didn't look that up. Generally speaking, it does go from one wall across the road to the other boundary line, and if it's a stone wall, then it often goes to that. Sometimes if it's a newer stone wall, then sometimes it's not right on the right of way. Usually, if it's an old time wall, it's most likely the boundary line, but I apologize, I did not find out that.
And did the applicant submit a regular driveway permit?
Yes, he did.
And I do have the feedback from the highway foreman.
So there only be, there are not two openings, if I understand. For this property.
Right.
And the discussion is only for one opening to have the hot asphalt. Apron. Not both.
I believe the highway foreman's memo is about the new driveway. I don't believe he's asking about doing anything with the current driveway. It says the proposed driveway.
I just want to make it clear to the record that there's only one paved apron for a driveway from this property to the scenic road. Is that
I don't know
what we're,
I don't remember his current driveway. But he's gonna-
but there were two openings, and
There
are two openings.
the old opening may be going away. I haven't decided yet.
That might be a good idea
To what, the side?
to rebuild the stone wall or discontinue that opening to the.
The existing driveway, the stone wall ends before the existing driveway.
Oh, it was a natural ending for a natural.
Yeah, it didn't continue, right? So the old driveway is, like I said, I might keep it, I might just get rid of it. The new one is the one that breaks the wall.
Since we're here talking about the scenic road ordinance, the scenic road ordinance covers a few different things. So if you're gonna do something in that space that's covered by the scenic road ordinance, you'd have to come back. So before you make a decision on what you wanna do, if you're gonna add material like fill or paving it or something else, you may have to come back. So you can always contact me if you come up with whatever your plan is, and we can see whether that's regulated by the ordinance.
But whatever you do on your property,
Yeah, outside the right of way.
outside of the right of way. You're referring to the right of way being the wall along the road to the road, correct?
Right, but
Okay.
that boundary line extends even when there's no wall.
Yeah, right. But we're, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Was there a photo or some diagram? I thought I remember seeing something about.
There was a diagram last time that showed where his existing driveway was
Yeah,
and where the new driveway was. Went up beyond.
was it only electronic?
I didn't
No,
print
but
anything out.
it was-
All I'm trying to do is make sure we have something for the record, so.
Stuff from when he submitted previously, because this thing has been continued.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can fix the view.
Okay, just trying to make sure there's only one driveway access to the scenic road that's paved with an apron. That's all we're talking about.
In the existing driveway, paved now.
No,
Maybe for the other.
You had F11 in both sides.
Right, well, the question.
Yeah.
there might be some actual photos in that email that the
Yeah, I don't remember how to get rid of the banner. This is what the diagram looks like, and then I can look for photos. It's approximately 120 feet from the edge of the existing driveway to the edge of the new proposed driveway.
Did you just keep scrolling down where you are? Those photos aren't there, Delia?
I'm looking,
No, I mean, where that, where I drew that picture.
Where the diagram was.
I think it's further down.
oh,
There you go.
we go. Let's share this so anybody online can see it. One moment.
Just for a little specificity, can we talk about opening one and opening two and define what opening one is, define opening two, and talk about it?
If you wanna call opening one the old driveway. and opening
We
two
have
the
something.
New one.
So there's nobody else reading this, a couple years from now.
So if you were to do away with this, the opening one, this opening one, or
That's the existing. That's the
So
existing.
we're opening one,
We're gonna call
equals this thing.
we're gonna call this.
Yeah.
So would you just get rid of the, the stone and stuff, and then just put grass there, or what would you do?
I mean, I would assume, I didn't give it much thought, honestly, until somebody here asked the last meeting. But having both right now is kind of convenient, so maybe it just stays as is, and I don't do anything.
But I think Delia's point was if at some point you decide to just turn that into grass.
Yeah, right, I gotta come back,
That's
yeah.
more activity.
Yeah, I get
Okay,
it.
all right.
I believe it's covered by the ordinance. If what he's doing isn't covered by the ordinance, then it's fine.
But let's just go with the assumption I'm not doing anything.
So opening one is what we're calling the existing driveway,
I
opening
could
two.
just go with old and new, and then we don't have to keep track of numbers.
We know it's old and new. I know if somebody else looking at it sometime later, well, it's old. and new.
As you wish.
Well, so as a new commissioner, this kind of thing must come up all the time, where somebody has gone ahead and done something. Then after the fact, it's discovered. What's the usual process? I mean, do we just slap somebody on the wrist and say, don't do it again? Yeah, I mean, I guess it gets to the heart of why do we have ordinances if we're not going to enforce them? And is this a, you know, what is the point of the scenic road thing? So it brings up all kinds of issues. And I'm not sure how deep we want to get into that.
Well, what happened was that he did it and somebody reported it.
Right.
It stopped. Now he's here getting his permits.
Right.
And it's being done correctly. So that's the reason for the rules. I mean, it's working the way it should. I mean, obviously, he should have gotten permission first. This week, he was given that information by somebody from what he said last meeting. So now he knows and he's doing it correctly. I mean, that's the way it works.
By bringing someone into compliance, it's not about punishing them, because we don't have a defined ordinance. If that's what you'd like to do, it wouldn't be retroactive, you just have to. look
No,
at doing that.
I completely get that. I guess my only contention is that we need to do it the same way for everybody, but I mean, this must come up a lot. Then I guess the
No.
issue is, how do you decide whether somebody's just on purpose or because they died? How do you actually get behind them?
I guess it depends on what they actually did and whether it's causing the problem or.
Yep.
I mean, if you had come here first and the driveway is what he wanted to do, if it's not much different, I don't know if it really matters.
So my gut
But
feeling,
that's where we've done it in the past.
my gut feeling, having driven past this. It looks kind of messy. If you made it nice, it would be great. And I wouldn't have a problem with it. But again, I mean, that gets to the heart of, what is the purpose of the scenic road? Like, I don't. It's my gut feeling that the stone wall sits back probably 15 feet.
Yep. All that.
And being a thrifty Yankee that I am, my kids call me cheap, but I like thrifty. I may have done something the very same to make it convenient for me to make a driveway in and out, not knowing that street was a scenic road. Yes, absolutely. And in my personal opinion, it's his stone wall. Right, he should be able to do whatever he wants, so he shouldn't be able to sell every single one of them. If that's what he chose to do, if he wanted to make this stone wall disappear. Yep.
That we need to come back, so.
Area so he can, right, let the driveway up the road.
Right.
Stone wall is back far enough, so you should be able to take that out.
Okay, technically, that's not even in the right of it at that point.
Yes, right, yeah.
Road from and I didn't on this one at all.
Yeah, no, he recommended to make an apron.
Yeah.
22 to 26 feet wide, they're down to 12 to 16 feet wide, and at least 20 feet in length into the driveway.
And I think it looks messy because.
Because
you
you
have to stop
thought.
working.
I was gonna say, I mean, it's nothing, I'm still to not work on it, so probably tidy it up, but I'm trying to follow the rules, dude.
But it's showing up here as well.
Yeah, we've got it.
I think in general, John, if there are non-compliances, and I'm not talking about this or scenic road
Yep.
activities typically, but if non-compliant issues are found in zoning regulations, the DEO does go out and have the applicant come back into compliance, and it may involve dismantling something that is too close to a side yard setback or other areas where recourse is available to applicant that or a resident that has been out of compliance with the regulations.
So in the normal scheme of things, if somebody living on a scenic road is planning to make a driveway and make a hole in their stone wall, that's not a big deal. That would be just like, okay, rubber stamp, and as long as all the paperwork is put out.
That's where the value of the public hearing comes in. If neighbors who are on the scenic road voice certain objections, there can be more discussion than just signing off on the application. Now, the outcome might still be the same, but the review process and discussion may get looked at.
So the review should include if the sightline is safe, if there's a drainage issue, there's some of the other things that would come up.
We go back to the regular driveway, which we didn't do. We started the driveway before putting that in. That standard specifically says no new driveway connecting to a town road shall be commenced until a written permit for its construction is issued by the DEO after consultation with the town's highway department. So it's clearly in violation of that. We didn't do that first, and then it's already using the driveway main part. I mean, that's a violation, so it's that.
Right, but
Any,
there's no, right now, there's no fine or other punishment for that. In the past, we've brought people into compliance by submitting paperwork, it gets reviewed, the commission reviews it and determines what the outcome should be. hopefully with the input of the highway foreman, based on the drainage or the sightline or other safety concerns and whatever the public meant to share. And then you close your hearing like you do with a special permit, and then you make your vote and you conclude what your decision is.
So this process, it began with notice from my predecessor. With I believe a violation, or he told you to stop work, the zoning enforcement officer, John Guskowski.
I forget the name, I got a letter.
Okay, and this process is to bring them into compliance. There isn't really a punitive tool to work with without proceeding to the courts. And ultimately, the goal is compliance. An applicant going about it the right way, but still have to go through this process, and probably it would deliver a similar outcome. We just can't reach everybody with the information that they have, every rule. This is the process of part of the due process.
Yeah, understood. I think I'm kind of on the same page as John, where there's no motivation for anybody to do it the right way if there's no punishment for not doing it right. If somebody did it the right way, fine, we go through the process and it's good. But even if you do it the wrong way, you still go through the same process. There's no. What's the motivation for going down the right road if you can just do the wrong road at the time and it doesn't change it? No?
I think each one of these processes, though, does raise awareness. So Dario, your neighbors and friends probably know now that you got to go through the scenic road process, right? Yeah. We can't reach everybody with every rule. That's why there's a net safety net in the process to draw the compliance.
So the scenic road thing, the people who are living on scenic roads, are they well aware they live on a scenic road? Did you, for instance, know that you lived on a scenic road?
I'll be honest with you, when I bought the house.
Yep.
I don't believe it was a scenic road. And then it turned into a scenic road when people were fighting Treehouse. So I inherited it turning into a scenic road. I didn't choose it to be a scenic road or not. And I didn't know the rules were any different for a scenic road, to be honest with you. And I would just like to reiterate, I was lax on the rules. I'll be honest with you. I heard from her, I'm talking to people instead of looking online or calling the town hall or coming down here. I'll leave my opinion aside on doing stuff on my own property, but I was lax about that. But I did talk to a person who talked to the highway department, who I believe is not there anymore. And it was no big deal. Maybe he wasn't aware it was a scenic road. I don't know. I'm just saying, it wasn't like I just started this without talking to anybody, right or wrong. I'm just explaining that's what actually happened. Correct. But no, I didn't know there was any different rules on a scenic road.
All right, well, I was thinking about taking it out back and giving the 30 lashes with a wet.
I think you should pay our salary.
Anybody else have anything to add?
I just want to help Adelia or clarify my comment, because on reflection, opening one and new and existing is anything more defining than old and new, which is what I think you were saying. But perhaps I could say opening one is directly in front of the house, and opening two is 120 feet.
You could refer to them with directions, like
Which is even better.
eastern, western, driveway entrance. I think this, the property line is parallel east-west.
So the new one would be the westerly,
late.
the new driveway is in the westerly driveway.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
The old driveway is right in front of the house.
Okay, so
No compass needed.
The opening one is directly in front of the house. Opening two.
It's not in front of the garage.
How many
About 120 feet.
120 feet from opening? Okay, thank you. Did you get that in?
I guess it did occur to me that if you drive a little bit further on that scenic road, you'll come upon a house with a lot of really nasty signs. They're not particularly scenic. And I just wonder, I guess the town has no
Correct.
jurisdiction over that particular.
The scenic road ordinance doesn't include signage like that.
So it may, those signs actually make this seem like absolutely fine. So it's- it might, yeah.
I move we close the public hearing.
Second. Mr. Givaco, do you have anything else to add?
No,
Motion by David Morris to close the public hearing. Who seconded that? Dean Gould, seconded by Dean Gould. Is there any discussion? We're gonna continue it to another time till we have.
Here's the information on that.
Also said we're gonna continue to go forward.
I just moved to close.
I know it's close.
Do we really need to know where the right of way is?
I apologize for not getting the.
What do
information
people
for you.
think? I kind of think we don't because it's so far, the wall is so far back.
Traditionally, as Delia said, the stone walls define the right of way. If you go out there and measure, if it's 32 or 33 feet, would be 2 rod of a road. They were measured in 16 and a half, 35 rods.
They both roads though, some of them are barely on one car width, and then some of them are a lot wider, so there's no consistency in the width of the road. Both roads.
33-foot wide roads in town.
Well, with that,
The right of way.
that's the right of way.
Oh,
Well, would that make any difference at all in how we're gonna address this? Yeah, for me, it doesn't.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't get to vote, but if I could just chime in, it's a driveway. He didn't put in a McDonald's or anything.
Yep.
I know that it's not covered by the ordinance. I'm not trying to be flippant, but
Build a
it's a
house.
driveway.
I completely agree.
Motion by David Morris, close the public hearing, second by Dean Gould. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That so passes. Thank you. That brings us to agenda item 6. Seems like we're at 6.
You messed up the numbers. Let's move on to.
Old business. SP 661-01-24. A nice man sitting over there. 170 Joy Road, Shabako.
there you go.
Dario Shabako, 170 Joy Road. Activity on the scenic road for driveway relocation.
Move to accept the application for somebody on the seat.
So one quick comment, it says driveway relocate.
I was
Wasn't
just
that-
thinking, clarify that if you're not
Doesn't-
really requiring it to be relocated, you could change it to. New driveway,
I think we could change it,
additional
but
second driveway or.
relocate, it sounds like it's being relocated, but it's actually not.
So motion by Joseph Adaletta, seconded by David Morris to accept the permit as presented. The friendly amendment from Commissioner Farbo to change the wording to new driveway. Is that correct?
Accepted.
Accepted. The motion on the table now is accept the permit for the new driveway. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That so passes. Thank you, Mr. Shabako.
I still have to do a legal notice in the newspaper, so I'll send you the details.
We appreciate your cooperation with this.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, there was a little confusion, but
Perfect.
glad we got it in a good spot now. So,
Yeah, Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along, agenda item 7. Another public hearing, proposed text amendment, subdivision regulations. Application review, decision and post approval process, section 2.d application notice requirements. Now open that up to commission. Julia.
Yeah, I think we doubled up. I got triple.
So I had a basic question about this. Is the applicant required to, when they come to the public hearing, to have a documentation of the abutters letter sent? Or do you have a copy of that? Where does that copy of the certified mail? Or certificate of mail, where does that actually fit?
It's not the last sentence. Says evidence on the file of the commission.
So what we are supposed to.
File. Does it have to be in the meeting when you have discussed?
We have to, they should send it to me, but
Yep.
they can bring it to the meeting. So we need a copy of the letter that they sent, so we know what was actually written, a list of everyone they sent the letter to, and the certificate from the post office, which I can tell you, a lot of post offices don't know what I'm talking about. Because every time you have a scenic road activity like for Dario Shavako, I had to do the certificate and I bring the form to the post office and I go to Dayville and they know what I'm talking about, but Putnam will refuse to do it because they don't know what I'm talking about. Once they do one at a time, but when you have to notice everyone that owns land on the scenic road, you have a lot of them,
So there's an actual form that where you list all of the abutters.
right?
And it would be nice when we're actually deciding on something, we have the list of people that they sent it to, because what happens is people sitting out in the gallery here for complaining, et cetera, they say, I never got a letter, et cetera, et cetera.
I have the letter and I usually do double check to make sure. I think maybe once in a while I haven't got around to doing that, but I do have the skip list. And then I have to double check, like I noticed for a recent application that we had, that 5 properties weren't noticed.
Right.
Some of those properties were actually owned by the same people as someone who was noticed. But it turned out that 3 properties never got the notice, so then they had to send the notice and then that problem was resolved.
But can we require that the applicant have a copy of the certificate of mail in front of us when we're actually discussing the issue? Can we put that in the text amendment?
Well, they have to, you mean everybody wants a copy or just put it in the file? The application file?
So it would be sent to us in our packet, the list of people.
Or you just want the list of the people or you want all the stuff?
The list of the people that were sent to, just documentation that it's actually.
We typically do.
Yeah.
We do have that.
We do typically get copies of the receipts.
Okay.
This amendment is only from this section. If you wanted to change what's in your regulations on application requirements, that would be a different amendment. I didn't draft that.
I mean, I'm just saying, as long as if we're actually saying that instead of registered mail, it's certificate of,
Well, it used to be certified, now it'd be certificate.
Right.
Not registered.
but it'd be nice to see the list.
We do get the list. I don't know if I've given it to everybody all the time because it just seems like a waste of paper, but if that's what you'd like, I can include it in your packet.
We've seen that before, the list of others. Yeah. Yes. I agree, it's good to see
I mean,
that.
the Azaluna thing, there are a lot of people saying they never got.
Right.
He was very vocal about that. He wasn't in the distance that was required to be noticed. So just because someone is upset that you didn't get a notice, doesn't mean they were required to be noticed. You can't fault the applicant for not doing something they weren't required to do.
Actually, there were multiple people, they were well beyond the distance of meeting. That's why it gets noticed in the paper as well
And
as
the sign.
having a sign out for properties.
And if they show up here, I don't know that they can really say they never were noticed. That's kind of a weak argument.
Should we, capitalize certificate of mailing in the last sentence? It's capitalized above. It's supposed to be capitalized.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
And then there's a comma after the last land use department, which I don't think is necessary. Yeah, I don't think it should be a comma.
No, but it, you know.
Anybody else?
The other thing was not just to correct the inconsistency, but who is required to do it. We had a recent application where someone asked whether their modification application had to do this notice. And it didn't say modification in the application and the regulation. And they weren't doing a new subdivision, they weren't doing a re-subdivision. But I didn't want them to be held up because they didn't do something, so I think this should be made clear. So are you gonna require the notices for all applications or only in ones that create new lots or? So that's why I put the stuff in blue, and if we could come to a conclusion, I can take out whatever you don't want in there, but we should make it clear who has to do this.
So I would say all of the above. I mean, you could really do a significant modification to a subdivision. But I think the butter should know that.
I just wanna make sure it's clear.
Yeah.
So that,
So the additional text in the blue makes it clear for you and others reviewing.
because then it's required for subdivisions, re-subdivisions, modifications of previously approved subdivisions and re-subdivisions. So that sounds like that's all of it. I don't think I shared this for one moment.
Will this make it if you were just doing like a boundary line adjustment on 2 pieces, you have to submit notification to your neighbors that you were taking like an extra 5 feet of land, 2, 3, 2.
Yep. If you're doing it on lots that are not in a subdivision or re-subdivision, you know.
Yeah, no, I get that, but
But all
it's
the
already
other-
in.
That's why I thought, maybe it wasn't required, although it gets confusing if you're required for some and not all.
Anyone else? Motion by Tim Young to close the public hearing. Second by Mike Black. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? As we pass, hearing is closed. That is the two agenda item. 13. Proposed text amendment subdivision regulations.
Hey.
You're right. You know, just over a year ago, I was in Rome. I saw a lot of things.
I think your mind is roaming.
They didn't teach me about movements. So agenda item 8, proposed text amendment subdivision regulations, application review decision and post approval process. What is the will of the commission?
Will we accept it?
Second. Motion by Tim Young to accept. the Text amendment revisions, seconded by David Morris. Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That so passes. Thank you, everyone. You already took care of agenda item 9. Brings us to agenda item 10. Hopefully everyone had a chance to review the home occupation permit. Maybe you haven't had a chance, but well, looking for one that our zoning enforcement officer may well added. Have any questions on this first? Anyone, possibly? CEO in Melo?
It's interesting discussion that you had in your report, Dan, about the online version. The old form versus new.
Yeah, it opened up a can of worms.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We have removed the cached version on the website, so it shouldn't be found errantly. An updated form is on the zoning webpage.
Okay.
On the forms page and timelines. And the trouble here, you'll see on the permit link home occupation form that they modeled that form based on the archaic paper form. So it lacks the full 14 questions versus the 9 questions on the archaic. I've asked Tracy to have applicants use the form that has all the questions on it. And we're gonna hold off on permit link. The fee that they proposed to charge us was $750 to make the 14 question form updated onto the online permit. So another time, it would probably be incorporated in a batch of updates.
But I found the answers on the new form helpful, particularly the one, the candle maker, just because retail and sales operations are entering a new forum of internet sales, online sales. It's a little nicer to know what kind of activity is taking place. This is pretty clear that the applicant's intending to just sell what's being made during the whole occupation, not purchasing outside goods and then reselling them within the whole occupation. So to me, this helps address some of those questions.
And going forward, if we do receive one intermittently, permanently, or somebody has this old form, they've submitted it to us, we're gonna ask them just to transpose it and answer the additional questions. Right. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, we'll move along to.
Let me just quickly go back. This form, you're saying this is the online permit form?
So our building office has been using Permit Link.
Permit link.
It's kind of they're popular software statewide. I also use this in Windsor Locks and in Thompson to process to give my zoning approval on building applications that would be referred. In Woodstock, they have the ability to receive home occupations with their permit link. so it's the building department software that we're piggybacking off of.
Okay.
But I'm not. I don't think it's great necessarily for zoning. We always have to kind of get more information from people. You can attach a site plan, but sometimes one isn't, so. Prefer the traditional manner, but I think Permit Link has been helpful, while a lot of our zoning service has been conducted remotely.
Because I thought I saw another, like a zoning, typical zoning application, that was for this form.
Yeah, this is, so this is all information that's put into an online form.
Yeah.
And this is the paper printout.
Thank you.
It doesn't have a live signature. That's another aspect of, why zoning permits through Permit Link are, I think the expectation in our age now is that, we're capable of receiving all types of permits online, but I don't think we're quite there yet.
Dan, can I ask you a question about a couple of enforcement things? Just out of curiosity, what was the investigation for Ken Rappaport?
So, I haven't really worked with John and Tyke yet to discuss any of the enforcement matters that they were handling. I believe. I'm familiar with the tree house.
What was that? I was gonna ask that next.
That was, they were clearing brush, is my understanding, in the right of way. And it might have gotten a little bigger than brush, but it was clearing, cleaning up the right of way. I don't think it met the criteria of scenic road activity.
Okay.
But if anybody else has any insights on that. It's just one area that we haven't overlapped yet. Because it hasn't been a fire put out.
Thank you.
Is it okay to ask another question on this, or you want to wait for the agenda to talk about the?
Unless you want to make a motion to move it up.
Number that you don't know.
Yes.
So then I'll wait. Until we get into the right one.
Okay, and item 11, non-residential zoning permits. Is it, if any?
Yeah, I wanted to run some things by you. I haven't given my signature yet, because I'd be requesting more information. But, Woodstock Tavern had 2 non-residential types of zoning permits. The Meteor one is they're proposing outdoor dining and a deck. I gave an excerpt of the state statute that, made outdoor dining as a right, on May 23rd of 2023. Similar to the outdoor dining that was allowed under the temporary COVID measures. A simple site plan and administrative zoning review is the process to approve outdoor dining. They propose a deck in conjunction with this. The deck would have to meet ADA and building code requirements. I wanted to bring this to your attention because somebody building a deck on, Woodstock Tavern is going to raise some eyebrows. I discussed this kind of at length with Heike. My initial opinion was there's to be used permitted as a right. And I ran that by them and we went line by line with the statute. When Sherwood's did outdoor dining in under the temporary order, they presented a consent form for us to inspect. A patio extension use form, I believe it's a Department of Consumer Protection form. Was also applied for, which they would need to apply for in this case as well. That would have local zoning sign off. And no fee was accepted then, but a fee would be applicable now. Applying a accessory structure fee. The area they utilized last time was 60 by 10. They're proposing this deck to be 45 by 15. And during the temporary order, they located this outdoor dining behind Jersey barriers. So a key requirement of the permanent statute is that this be in an area not for vehicular travel. Sorry, a deck would remedy that. I think in a way that a Jersey barrier would remedy that. It now has taken an area formerly vehicular travel and turned it into this other type of use. This does not grant any permission for outdoor music or one thing I encountered during the COVID era, on Fridays and Saturdays, this operation would be technically allowed to run until 11 o'clock and then 9 o'clock on other days. The permanent measure indicates 9 o'clock as the final cutoff on the Friday, Saturday, unless the commission feels more lenient. But that's a decision left locally. So they also submitted an application for indoor karaoke. It's a Department of Consumer Protection form, typical when a bar wants to add some form of entertainment to what they do. Unless karaoke is explicitly prohibited indoors in Woodstock, that is another one where I endorse as the zoning enforcement officer, and they send that form back to the Department of Consumer Protection.
Is there gonna be any hookah?
I think that is not really a use permitted as a right, maybe.
I'm just asking.
That
For
would
a
need
friend.
that would need some special permitting. Potentially. But after discussing these with Tyke, and pouring through pertinent statutes on my own, I believe these are administrative. I would be requesting more detail on the site plan that was presented. I kind of held them up in their tracks. As I said, I wanted to run this by the commission to see how involved it might need to be. But what was submitted during the temporary measures was a markup of an A2 survey. And I feel that would be sufficient to scale. And it's not the drawing, I believe, that went around the table or an email today. That was just a rough imagination of what we were talking about in the office. And prior to me researching it further. But I would be requesting more details such as the plan that was presented a few years ago.
Things like height would be the height of the deck, and the old extension was ground level. So people could just walk out, and the Jersey barriers made sense, obviously, to protect the customers from vehicular traffic. And if the deck, it sounded like the thought was because it was a deck, it would inherently be an obstacle to vehicles, but
It
just that depends on how high it is off the ground.
a deck should sequester vehicles away from that area. Not always. I would say that the building official might have additional requirements to safeguard against any issue with vehicles in the deck.
Any roof on this, or is it an open deck, you know?
Um,
Didn't say.
I didn't get any answers on that. In the previous proposal, they indicated that they had some seats underneath the covered portion of that exists on the side of the building.
Right.
But I don't know if they do any more than umbrellas. I can suss out how they plan, how many tables generally, and, I think, a roof with a deck is kind of in the same intent of this. But I want to have clarification on style and that it's ADA compliant. And meets the requirements of the building code.
And lighting would be another issue we would be concerned about.
I think,
As you say, a more detailed plan is forthcoming.
yeah, there's
so-
not, so much, guidance with the statute that dives into that, but it must be locally compliant.
Yeah, okay. Some of those things then.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, you mentioned a cutoff of like 9 PM, 11 PM.
Yep.
Review that again.
When, there was a temporary order that initially allowed outdoor dining, COVID, that order allowed restaurants to have outdoor dining until 9 o'clock on weekdays and up until 11 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays. The permanent order, state statute, only grants that use permitted as a right until 9 o'clock every day. The commission or the municipality can be more lenient. I don't think that we're late night town. And I would only be approving within the guidelines of the state statute. It's, I don't think we want to party outside at 10:55. It won't go away at 11 o'clock.
But they maybe people want to be there at 9:30 in June or July, and, so.
Hopefully not escalate to an enforcement matter.
Maybe it's.
That's why we
Maybe it's something that
define everything.
comes before us and we say yay or nay. So,
You have to know what their current hours are. And this is about the extent I get out, so I know.
I'm not,
anything else?
If I understood you at the beginning, once you get, sorry, Jeff, once you get more detailed information, you indicated this is more administrative.
Yeah.
Approval, not something that would have to come before.
no, not a modification of a special permit, but if they want bigger and better things on that deck, ultimately that might have to require special permit.
I think that it would be important, some sort of a safety barrier up there. Can't see a deck being enough to deter some lady foot stuck on the accelerator, and there seems to be a lot of that.
I'm gonna bring up that concern,
Yeah.
because it was a
Maybe not
concern
on
of
the
the
side.
commission.
Toward 171, but certainly on the line that where somebody came in and turned, or something that would protect the end of it, and it doesn't have to be ugly Jersey barriers, it could be poles,
Bollards.
Yeah. Well, you could put a nice yellow thing on it, and make it, so it doesn't stand out or anything like that.
Oh.
But, you could put something there so a vehicle can't get through.
Yeah.
But, a deck like this is probably not gonna stop
I agree.
somebody that's got their foot right to the floor.
This was a concern of the commission, I want to say like 2007, or maybe there was a second attempt in 2013. Outdoor dining was proposed, and the commission went into great depth, detailing what kind of wall would be put in place. I think with the statute, we can't nitpick that so much, long as it meets, building code. But I will definitely be raising my concern about the adequacy of just the deck versus the car deck or truck.
Like I say, on the end of it, somebody to come around and, you're not gonna have a lot of force, but somebody could come in and turn and head toward that. What a mess.
So I'll have accompanying permit application that markup of the A2, such as was submitted. There was a good looking one that was submitted in the past. that I think is appropriate for this. And in the narrative that details, the hours. No additional things are granted such as live music outdoors, no additional lighting is granted. And I'll enclose a copy of the statute to them. Reference the 9 o'clock provision. And convince them of playing it safe over there.
It looks like they close at 9 o'clock on weekdays and 10 PM on Friday and Saturday. Unless you look at Google when they're up to 1 AM, that's not.
A lot of times these restaurants, those days, the kitchens are closed by 8 o'clock. That's outdoor dining now becomes. If the music is gonna be, it's gonna be internal, it's not usually gonna be out on that area. So, yeah, I think they kind of take care of themselves, you know. And do that with mosquitoes.
Any more comments, questions?
Thank you for sharing. If I can talk now, we on the DEO report?
Oh, no, we need to talk about planning and conservation.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Update. Tuesday evening, I attended along with my friend Amy. Board of Finance meeting, and we presented. Karen Fitzpatrick brought it up, and I defended the need for some additional money. POCD fund. And it appears in some way, shape, or form, there are 4 choices currently on the docket of how we're gonna get the money, but pretty much assured us that we'll get the money some to up the POCD reserve. And I did remind selectmen, and I think all 3 were in attendance too, right? Amy, thank you for that. That they needed to get together with either NECOG or someone else, or look into getting someone to help us with the POCD, so. But at least we got funding, hopefully. I am gonna ask again or reiterate again that maybe beginning next year, possibly, that start putting some money in the budget every year to get the fund back up to where it had been, so. That brings us to agenda item 13, CEO reports.
So you had question about something on there?
Yeah, and one of the permit page. The item 908 Route 169. It's a 30 by 24 foot addition within existing non-conformity. That's right. I think I'm reading it that way, right? Existing.
That was a weird one. So. We have, there was the front yard setback and a side yard setback. The house, front building line was. A non-conformity. They proposed an addition parallel, or equal plane with the front foundation wall. And they had a pool structure that Tyke felt was a sufficient structure to represent another the side yard nonconformity. So the garage is extended along the front yard, front foundation wall to the
So it's gonna line up with the side, not conformity.
Yeah, it's gonna square up the non-conformity.
So it's not making it more non-conforming.
Yeah.
Not non-conforming, it's just, okay.
Yeah.
Which one can't do.
No, it, a legally existing building or structure non-conforming to the front, side, or rear setback may be expanded, extended, or enlarged, providing that a zoning permit has been issued for that expansion, extension of the park.
As long as it doesn't make the non-conformity more.
Yeah, they initially wanted a front porch on front of things, but that would be further into the front yard setback requirement. They weren't allowed that. So they were allowed to maintain the non-conforming structure lines and square off the front where a driveway would be at the end of it. I mean, where a garage would be at the end of the driveway.
And is that what the structure, the addition is, a garage?
I think they're building off of their current garage.
It's a
So
big addition, that's all I'm
I,
saying.
yeah, I wish I had a copy of the site plan for that, but we could go over that.
Joe, my wife would disagree with you.
30 by 24 is not big.
Yeah. Can't we go a little bit bigger?
And sorry, some of these are. So we're in a state of flux. We have Tyke on hand, in a full capacity for another month. There's a little bit of crossover. The permit activity in February was obviously their work. There's a lot of things that we've gone over together since I've started. So dialogue that they had with residents about how to proceed with the zoning permit, generally gone line by line with the reg to make sure I feel the same way. We have both endorsed that one particular permit, for example, and it's noted on that permit that's based upon the guidance of CEO John Miskowski. So I mean, I've worked with extending nonconformities before. It is big, as you said.
Yeah.
But I believe it meets the letter of the regulation.
I have another issue, not on the report,
Yep.
but a comment about what I believe might be a non-compliant billboard sign.
Okay. Yeah, I had asked, while I had, the previous permits we discussed, the tavern.
Yeah.
While they're present, if they had anything to do with that sign. That sign, wasn't one that came, at their behest. They applied for, to swap 3 signs. They were all on the plaza. I don't have a permit application for that sign reface. That the one that we're gonna call a billboard is pre-existing and non-conforming. It can be maintained, but it might not be. I don't know if I haven't done the research yet to see if CK remodeling is in a business in that plaza.
I didn't see any signs in the plaza for HMK
Okay.
renovations. So that's why I was just asking if that was followed through with the sign permit to change that.
Yeah, I had asked John about it and he didn't recall there a signed permit coming through for that. My understanding is that it's gotta be associated with the plaza.
We had discussion about this several meetings ago.
Really?
Yeah, I think when they came in, when we discussed the permit, changing it from Sherwood's. I believe that that John granted them a permit, and did we vote on it or not? But the sign came off, actually Sid brought it up,
The small sign,
the sign up towards the next.
right, okay. We're talking about.
Yes, Sid brought it up.
Yeah.
It's probably 6 months ago now,
Okay.
back when it was still summertime, maybe.
And do you recall what the discussion was or what the outcome was?
I think John just kind of said, hey, I think John said that I think we were under the understanding that it needed to come before us. John said the regulation. He interpreted the regulation to say, no, that it's already an established business. They weren't changing the business. And I think that's where the hookah discussion came from.
There was a proposal for a hookah lounge many years ago.
But I think Delia threw out hookah in that. I think it's stuck in mind.
No,
But
but
I
there
think
was a
John
discussion years
granted that. His interpretation was it didn't need to come forward. An existing business that was only changing names, changing.
Well, that would make sense. if
Yeah,
it said
but I think that-
Woodstock
I think-
Tavern.
Yeah, and I think that Sid brought up about the sign and the consensus was that if it was with the business, it would be kind of okay, because I always wasn't sure it was something.
Right.
But now it is definitely not. Woodstock Tavern, so.
Yeah, so my next step is confirming where this business is located, that's being advertised, and then reaching out to the property owner.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
I will address the Ken Rappaport enforcement complaint. In our. I believe the last public hearing we had. On the on Ken's wanting to have a. Wedding venue, there was a citizen that complained that he was having. Hearth dinners and other things, and he did not have a permit for that. I stood right over there and I distinctly told him we would look into it, so I asked John to take a look at the video of the meeting, and it said like minute 58 through a minute, 1 hour or 2 minutes, and I said, take a look at that. I told the resident that we would look into it, so that's how the complaint was started. I asked John to look into it, I told the citizen to do it, so.
Can I ask just a quick question? Mint machinery on the permit? Interesting. I don't know, wondering what it is.
He bought it's old Compton tractor.
Oh, okay, all right, thanks.
Agenda item 14, budget review and bills. It just some money for a notification. Hopefully, we can get the POCD up to $19,502.90. Brings us the chorus, I'm sorry, citizens' comments. The commissioners have any comment? Citizens' comments. Good evening.
Hi,
We've missed you.
should I make a comment? Just. I've been sitting here.
Can if you'd like.
Or Curly, 58 Public Rock Road. How was your training? I missed last week and because of that.
It was good, it was enlightening, it was a good refresher of things we can do, we can't do, and shouldn't do, and other rulings that have come down throughout the state, so. It is recorded and online if you'd like to watch it.
And the minutes are very well recorded too.
Correspondence. A bunch of stuff there to everybody to take a look at. Quite a solar array that's gonna possibly go on Castle Rock Road.
Any update on that? I mean, the declaratory ruling sounds like they just want to get the citing council to say it's okay to do it, or versus a review process of some kind.
That's the stage I think it's at. That's my interpretation.
Okay. Otherwise, does it have to go through some environmental review? Or land use review?
Wetlands,
Wetland review?
yeah, the structures, I believe are what would be, the zoning, process. But I haven't done that on the zoning side of things yet, so, hopefully. I mean, it all depends on how this goes with the citing council, so, and then, I'll have to really, crunch the regs on, how we can apply it. How we apply it. Okay. Good, but I know I've taken these citing council projects for solar arrays through wetlands commissions. When there has been a upland review or wetlands impact.
Has anyone signed up for the Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies meeting next week?
Going by myself,
Oh, Mr. Blackmore and I are gonna go.
I did not sign up yet.
We have until Tuesday. I haven't signed up yet either, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow, so.
Not gonna be.
I'm not change your plans. Oh, where?
California.
You did. Okay. Very open. Good. Well, out of anything else, we went through a lot of agenda items tonight. It's only 5 minutes a month.
You want to stay longer? Is that-
I have to go pick my young son up at the Bradley Airport.
Oh,
He's been in Punta Cana for a week.
He's been at the airport since 18.
hurry up. Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Tim Young, second by David Norris, I think.
Yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's what happened, and I had 8:59, the meeting ended. Oh. Thank you, everyone.